Hi guys, I'm Gasha. Welcome to my channel and to my bookland. Even though I don't have my bookshelves behind me today because I have a big unhaul video that has been some time coming. Now, I had been kind of selecting books out of my shelves for a while, and the other day I decided to add a couple more. Normally I used to get rid of books that I had already read, so I thought, you know, it was fair if you're not gonna read them again just to get rid of them. But then I started thinking that I have so many books on my shelves that I don't know if I'm really gonna get to them, that I think from time to time getting rid of a couple, it's okay. But in this video, basically I wanted to show you the books that I have read and I'm unhauling and let you know why. And then on the second part of this video, I'm going to show you books that I have not read and I would like to get rid of. But from all of the ones that I have not read yet, I might let you save a couple of those. And yeah, so let's start first with the books that I have already read that I'm getting rid of, which is the biggest pile. And it feels good to be letting go of some of those books. But yeah, I'm just gonna show you now the books that I have read, didn't really enjoy that much, and I'm letting go of.
It's coffee time!
First we have the only graphic novel that I am unhauling, and that is Lost at Sea by Brian Lee O'Malley. I read it, it was okay. I mean, it was not that bad, but it kind of disappointed me and I decided that it has to go. Next I have The Chemistry of Death by Simon Beckett. Now, I really love this book. The only reason why I'm unhauling this one is because I don't like this edition and I would like to have a nicer, better edition of the book. And yeah, so that's the only reason why I'm unhauling this one. Next I have A Wrinkle in Time by Madeleine L'Engle, I hope so. And I wanted to read this one when the movie was announced. I read it, but I could not for the love of me get into it really. I had to struggle to finish it, so I'm not gonna continue with the series because I didn't really like this one, and I know a lot of people love this book, so I'm sorry, but it was just not for me. Then we have Sister by Rosamund Lupton, and this is a thriller, and with most thrillers, once you have read it once, that was it. And normally you don't reread them, so I think I'm gonna focus on purchasing thrillers mostly on my Kindle, you know, because it's a way of still reading those books, still supporting the author. But if I don't buy the physical copy, you know, then I just don't have to unhaul them later, because I think thrillers, unless it's a thriller that it becomes your favorite and you want to reread it and reread it, then, you know, it's not worth it to have a physical copy of. So this one is gotta go. Next we have Why We Took the Car by Wolfgang Herrndorf, and I enjoyed this one. I thought it was a very interesting kind of car ride story, a really cool adventure, but I think reading it once was enough and I don't see myself rereading it, even though it was fun. But yeah, so this one also goes. Next we have Light as a Feather by Zoe Arson. I was super excited about this one because it was YA horror. It was supposed to be a spooky story where a girl predicts how her friends are gonna die and then they start to die exactly like she predicted, and I was like, this is totally my jam, I'm gonna love this book. But I didn't. I really did not enjoy it, so sadly this one has to go as well. Next we have Baby Teeth by Zoje Stage, and I really wanted to keep this book because this cover is stunning. But the truth is, I did not really enjoy this book and I'm never gonna reread this ever, so it makes no sense for me to keep it on my shelves. Next we have The World According to Anna by Justine Gardner, and I thought I was gonna love it because I really love Sophie's World by the same author, but this one didn't sit so well with me. I thought it was okay-ish. I had some issues with the book, so that's why it has to go. Moving on with Lizzie by Dawn Eos, and this was pitched as a retelling from Lizzie Borden's story, and that's what I really was excited to read it. And the cover is fantastic and I love it, and I was really excited, and then I got really burned because I did not enjoy this book at all. I pushed myself to finish it, but it was not what it was pitched as. I didn't think that they did a good job pitching this book. I didn't really see much resemblance with Lizzie Borden, not maybe really loosely inspired, you know what I mean? And I didn't like a couple of things that were done in the book by the characters, and yeah, so it was a no for me. Then I have Unfiltered by Lily Collins. I really like her, and I wanted to read this book and learn a little bit more about her story, but I felt like in the book, instead of telling us more about herself, she was just giving you a couple of life advices, and it was a very short book, and I think I was expecting more of a memoir in a way, and that's not what I got. So yeah, I'm never gonna reread this, so it has to go. Next we have Kiss the Morning Star by Elisa Janine Hull. I really like this book. It was a great, crazy, another kind of car drive story, like a road trip kind of thing, and I thought it was great, and it has some diversity as well, but I don't see myself rereading this one, and I'm trying to you know, keep my book collection to the ones that I really love and would like to reread at some point, so sadly this one has to go. Next we have Circus Galacticus by Diva Fagan, and I thought it was okay, but honestly, if I would have to explain this book to you right now, I couldn't, because it's that forgivable. And I was really excited because, I mean, a circus, we all know I love circuses, but it was not for me. Next we have Fix Her Up by Tessa Bailey. This is one of my most recent purchases, and I'm getting rid of it because I did not enjoy this book. Like, I saw so many people that I like on the booktube community loving the book that I decided to grab it and read it, and I didn't like the relationship that they had between each other. I thought the way he was talking to her, calling her baby girl and everything, was very kind of weird. It left me like with a bad taste in my mouth, and the whole book was kind of, I would like rate this book with 3 pukes and 2 poops emojis. It was just not good, and the ending was just so freaking convenient and so like I'm gonna go throw up and come back. And yeah, I'm never gonna reread this book, let's face it. So even though it's a brand new copy, it's a brand new book, but I'm not gonna reread it. Next we have a copy of Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. The only reason why I'm getting rid of this copy is that I hate this cover so much. I got this book once at a flea market for like super cheap, like 50 cents or €1, whatever, because I wanted to reread the book and, you know, it's fulfilled its purpose. But if I would ever, you know, get a copy for myself, I would like to get a better, nicer edition. So that's the only reason why I'm getting rid of this one. Moving on with The Da Vinci Code by Dan Brown. Now, I really loved this book when I read it. I really loved this story. It's not all accurate what it's being said in this book or anything, but it was a great adventure, and I love everything that has to do with deciphering things in museums and stuff like that. I'm just a sucker for that. But I don't really like this kind of small mass market paperback edition, so I would like to get a better copy of the book, so that's why I'm getting rid of this one. Next we have 3 Truths and a Lie by Brent Hartinger. I got this one for one of the challenges of the Passport Readathon, where we had to read books, I think, with the word lie, liar, lying, all of that, and this was not that great. And I mean, it was okay for one-time read. I really like the kind of ending part of the book, but the first 80% of the book, not great. And so I don't see myself rereading this, so it has to go. Next we have Dark Hollow by John Connolly. This is another thriller, and like I said, thrillers, I think I'm just gonna collect them in Kindle because I don't particularly need to have physical copies of all thrillers, so that's why this one's going. Next, The Girl on the Train by Paula Hawkins. So I read this book back in the day when everybody was all hyped up about the movie. I did not really love it that much, and I don't have like the, you know, urge to reread these anytime at all. And if I ever want to reread it, I can always get the Kindle, you know, the ebook or something like that. I don't need to keep a physical copy of it, so I'm gonna get rid of it. Then we have Hocus Pocus, the all-new sequel. You might be a little bit shocked that I am getting rid of this because I love Hocus Pocus, and I was so excited when they announced this book and I got it hardcover and everything, and I was like so happy. But I had issues. Like, I liked the first part, which was 20% of the book because it was the old story, but the all new sequel, the all new story didn't sit well with me. I don't think the second part of the book, you know, the new story, made justice to the original story. Probably I'm very biased because I really loved the movie, but yeah, I don't see myself rereading this because it got me a little bit bitter about it, so I'll get rid of it. Next, another one that breaks my heart to see go, but that is Slenderman by Anonymous. And I got this book because, first of all, I mean, look at that cover, it is gorge, but it was so boring. Same as the movie, by the way. The movie Slenderman I was so excited about. It was so bad. It was bad, okay? It was bad. So Slenderman, I'm still waiting for them to do justice to the character of Slenderman, which I think it's a great kind of myth, a great character. I don't think the book made the story any justice. I don't think the movie made the story any justice. So I just hope that one day we get a good movie or a good book based on the character of the Slenderman. Next, we have another disappointment. Let's go with The Creswell Plot by Eliza Wass. And I got this one because it's a family that is kind of like in this cult, and they raise their children in this cult, and they are super different from all of the children. And I was so interested in that because I love stories that have to do with cults and all of that, but it was just not what I wanted. I don't think they explained much about what the cult is really about, and I didn't like the character development in this book. So even though it has a really pretty cover as well, it has to go. Next, we have a book that it was just not bad. It was just that it's really for little children, and I'm probably not gonna reread it, and that is this beautiful book here. It's called Nanny Cat Chronicles. And I mean, this cover is fantastic, so I might try to give this one to a kid or something like that to read because it's really beautiful. But I'm not gonna reread this really, and you know, holding on to things just because they're cute, even though we're tempted as book hoarders, you know, you just have to let it go sometimes. Next, we have Poppy Done to Death by Trelane Harris. This is a thriller, and I read it, I enjoyed it, I really liked it, but again, thrillers is something that I don't particularly have to keep on my book collection, and I think, you know, it can find a better home. And the last one that I have read, and I'm going to Unhaul, and a lot of people are gonna hate me because of this, and I'm sorry, but I just could not really. And it's actually book 1 and 2, and that is the Illumini Files 1 and 2. I have here Illumini and Gemini, and I got the nice hardcover, beautiful editions, everything, all the jazz, and I could not get into these books. Like, I don't even know what I tried the second one. Now hear me out. Every time I read one of these books, they put me in a reading slump. It slowed me down so much. I had to push myself to sit down and read it because I was not in the mood, okay? So that's bad, and I just could not get into it. I couldn't care for the characters, and I appreciate the format because it's just a compilation of files, you know, like emails and chats and things like that, and it's really cool. But I've considered getting Obsidio and reading it, which is the third book, but I'm like, am I gonna really do that to myself? Not only spend the money in another book that you're not gonna reread, but also have to push yourself through another book. It's just not fair to do that to myself. And so I decided that these two beautiful books have to go. Alright, and now we're going to the second section of this video, in which I'm gonna show you books that I have not read yet, but I think I might just let go of, I want you guys to let me know down below if there's any of these that you think I should definitely give it a try, like read a couple of the first chapters before I decide to really let it go for good. There is actually a couple of books here that I have book 1 and 2 already. why though? And I am thinking of unhauling them, so you know, great purchases done by me. So basically we have Night Sky and Wild Sky. Let's first of all talk about that they are completely different editions. I ordered the same edition from Amazon, but they sent me different editions, which already put me off into reading them. I don't know what they're really about. I just think they are, you know, these adventure of kids that have superpowers. That's all I know, so that's what I wanted to read it. I don't know, should I invest my time in these books? Let me know down below. Next we have A Flame in the Mist by Renee Ahdieh. So I thought at the beginning this was a retelling on Mulan, and I was like, awesome, let me get that. But then a lot of people said that it was not really a retelling on Mulan, and they didn't know how they pitched it like that. A lot of people were disappointed on this book, and that kind of made me also not want to read it anymore, but I might give it a try if you guys choose for me to read this one. Next I have Shiver and Linger by Maggie Stiefvater. I still have not read any books by her, but I saw these ones at a secondhand store and I decided to grab them because they were cheap. But I've never started this series. I don't know, I think it's a trilogy. It's only 3. The 3rd book is called Forever. Should I read this? I don't know. Is it good? Let me know. Moving on with The Body Finder by Kimberly Durting. I think I got this one because Amazon had it for like €1.50 or something like that, and I'm like, I might just well get it. And it's about a 16-year-old that I think she has this gift that can see the people that have been murdered, so she can help with the investigation to figure out who killed them, something like that. So I thought it might be something down my alley, but now I'm not sure anymore. So if you read it, let me know down below. Then I have a middle grade, which I don't know if I'm gonna read, and it's called Wolf Brother by Michelle Paver, and it is part of the Chronicles of Ancient Darkness. So this kind of starts a series, and I grabbed this one again, same reason. I think I only paid €1 for it. And I thought I might give it a try one day, you know, when I'm in the mood for some middle grade. But will I really get to this one? Because when I read middle grade now, it tends to be like spooky horror stories that are middle grade. So I don't know if this will be something for me. Next we have one that I actually want to read. I just don't like this edition at all. And that is The 100-Year-Old Man Who Climbed Out of the Window and Disappeared by Jonathan. So I mean, I'm not mad that it is a mass market paperback kind of edition, but the problem is the pages are very thin and the lettering is so tiny. If you could see these letters here, they're so tiny that I just don't want to read it when I see that. And so if I would ever read this one, I would definitely need a different copy because I could not read it like this. I'll literally go blind. And so yeah, I kind of want to get rid of this copy, and maybe in the future, if you guys have read it, let me know down below if it's any good and if I should purchase a different edition to get to read it. Moving on, I have 2 or 3 things I forgot to tell you. This is one that I think I was also reading for a kind of readathon, and I started reading the first chapter or 2 and I hated it. So I put it off, I put it away, and I didn't continue. But if you have read this and you recommend me to push through those first chapters because it gets better, let me know down below. Next we have Forgive My Fins by Tara Lynn Childs, and this is when I wanted to collect some mermaid books to read for summer, and I grabbed this one on Amazon for like $2.50, and I think it's a trilogy, but I only got the first book so far. And now I'm thinking it might be not for me, that it might be too naive and too young reading for me, maybe. I don't know. Let me know down below if you read these trilogy, if it's any good. Moving on with The Left Hand of God by Paul Hoffman. This is a chunky fantasy book. I don't know if I'm gonna love it, but if you read it and you liked it, you can vote for this one. Another fantasy that I have here is The Still Remains by Richard Morgan. Another one that I grabbed, I think, secondhand, like basically new, for €1, and I never got to it. So I don't know. Do you think I'm gonna like this kind of fantasy? Let me know. The next one is another one that it's part of a trilogy, and that is Rebel Belle by Rachel Hawkins. And I got this one, I think, out of book depository, I don't know, book outlet, something like that. And I know a lot of people that have read it and liked it, but I also know a lot of people that didn't, so I'm kind of doubting now if I want to start this trilogy or not. But let me know down below if I should give it a try. Next we have a couple more of kind of YA series, and the first one is Hush Hush and Silence by Becca Fitzpatrick. So I got the first 2 books and never read them. I don't know if it's gonna be something for me or if I should just let them go, but you know, let me know if you read these series, what you thought about it. The other series is Matched and Crossed, and there is a 3rd book that I don't have yet. And basically I heard that it's not that great. And now I'm thinking, should I invest my time in these books? Should I just let them go right away? I don't know what to do. I've been tempted to get the 3rd one a couple of times and then just binge read the trilogy, but is it really worth it? Let me know down below. Then we have a small book, and that is The Emperor's Soul by Brandon Sanderson. I don't know if this is gonna be something for me. I've never read Brandon Sanderson, and I thought if I ever read his books I would start with other kind of more chunky fantasy books, but maybe you've read this one and you say it's really great and that I should give it a try, so let me know. And the last one, it's called The Other Hand by Chris Cleave, and this is a book that does not come with a synopsis because it says we don't want to tell you what happens in this book. It is a truly special story and we don't want to spoil it. Nevertheless, you need to know enough to buy it, so we will just say this is a story of 2 women. Their lives collide one fateful day and one of them has to make a terrible choice. 2 years later, they meet again. The story starts there. So that's it. And you're supposed also not to tell anybody what happens in the book. So I don't know, I'm intrigued. But then on the other hand, it's like, do I really want to get into a book that I don't know anything about? That I've never read anything by this author? What if it's, you know, not good? I don't know. If you read it, don't spoil the plot for me because apparently that's forbidden, but just let me know if I should give it a try or not. Okay, so these are all the books that I am unhauling. The ones that I have already read, I'm letting them go. Don't try to persuade me to keep them because those are already goners. And the ones that I have here are the ones that I have not read yet, so those still get a chance to be saved by you. So save a book today and comment down below which one or which ones I should give a last try before letting them go for good. When I have collected all the information, the books from these here that win, I will sit down and I will make a vlog in which I read the first chapters of each book, and I'll let you know, guys, if I've decided to keep them or toss them. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. I really appreciate your support. I hope you had fun in this book unhaul. It's the first unhaul that I am doing. I feel good doing it. I think everybody should unhaul books, movies, and things from their lives because it's just necessary. So thanks so much for watching. Please give the video a big thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to click on the notification bell so you will be notified every time I upload a video. I do have also Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. The links to my social media can be found in the description box down below, and I hope to see you all in the next coffee time. Bye!